Alright guys, we're back once again with more Red Dwarf video games. This time around we have for you a text adventure from 1996 by Joseph Stanko. How interesting. Let us boot it up and see what all the fuss is about, shall we? Alright, select a background colour. Yeah, one sec. Try and get that in the middle. Won't go any bigger. Right, select background color black. Text color white. Unless it gives me the choice. Oh, I didn't mean to. Hang on. Right, let's get this right first. Then, what I'll do is I will crop that. Find the right button. There we go. Make that look a bit nicer on screen. Oh, we need some music as well, don't we? Jazz things up a little. How's that look? Good. Right, that'll do. Okay, ready to go. Let's do it. Red Dwarf, text adventure. Great, can't wait, love text adventures. Sacred Trio Software presents Red Dwarf, Infinity welcomes careful drivers. Oh yeah, that's the subtitle, forgot about that. Version 2.11 by Joseph A. Stonko, written by Joseph Stonko and Neil Grigsby, created by Grant Naylor. Special thanks to Jeff Samp and Mark Toscano, for no particular reason. Program is copyrighted 1996. Jeff Stonko comes with absolutely no warranty. This is free software. You're welcome to redistribute it as is under certain conditions. For more information, see the readme. Okay, we're ready. Thank you for your purchase, sir. Yeah, he's saying take back your electronic credit card. Glancing at it, you suddenly realise that you, Dave Lister, have just spent your last £1 on a toaster with artificial intelligence. Well done. Not a particularly attractive toaster or one with many features, but an ugly, intelligent toaster. One that probably goes on a lot of blind dates with other toasters who have been told how very intelligent it is, what a great personality it has. It's very specific. It was pretty much an impulse buy, an impulse like just about every other decision you have made in your life. Okay, we're in the appliance store. This is a nothing little appliance store, jutting out of a nothing little corner on nothing little street in a nothing little city on the humongous planet of Saturn. I mean, Saturn's a gas giant, but whatever. The shelves are cluttered with, well, nothing. Little nothing objects, cheap gimmicks that prey on impulsive people like you. There is a very rat-like salesman behind the counter with his hands in his pockets, and a very, very large rat on the floor that, if it had hands, would probably have them in its pockets as well. There is a toaster here. Okay. Well, obviously. First port of call. Also, yeah, I do have a walkthrough available this game. Did manage to find one. Took me a bit, but I did it. So we'll keep an eye on that as we go. We'll see how we get on. Okay, look. There's a toaster here. I suppose we get the toaster? Actually, can we save? Save new game. And what about load? Load. Restore start. Right, hang on. I just need to check what the save and load is. I don't think I'll need them, but I don't think there's any deaths in this game. Just want to make sure. Check the readme. Okay. Okie dokie. Let me just restore. There we go. So if I type restore, that should bring. And we can load that. Okay. Alright, we know the code. We know what we're doing. Okay, I suppose we get the toaster. Okay. We have an inventory. You're carrying a toaster, a card. You're wearing a jacket. Now in card. Your credit card bears your hologrammatic image. Okay. Jackets. Favorite jacket bears the logo of the London Jets 0G football team. Okay. Excellent. Can't go north. You can't go south. Can't go east. Can go west. The sidewalk, a rather boring slab of concrete, extends north and south along Whiskey Street. To the east is a disreputable looking appliance store. West of you is a disgustingly unsanitary street which is unsafe to cross. Okay. To the south is a BTL addict. A BTL addict lies on the ground with BTL electrodes drilled into her skull and a dazed look on her face. With her is a bliss freak, who appears very dangerous. Okay, so it doesn't want me to go south or east. I mean, south or west. East is where we came from, so we should go north. We should not bump into the charming locals or cross the unsafe street. The still rather boring slab of concrete ends here, and a construction zone blocks further progress northward. A space taxi zooms past, low to the ground, along the street, reminding you not to go west here. Don't go west. You are standing in front of the Space Corps Recruitment Office, the human equivalent of the large dumpster that sits here. There is a sign in the window. The human equivalent of the dumpster that sits... What? There is a sign in the window. Read the sign. Reminder, no animals allowed on board Corps starships. Don't worry, Lister would never take an unauthorized animal aboard a starship. No, 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 no. Okay, let's examine a dumpster. There's nothing special about it. It is closed. Aha. Opened. Examine dumpster. There's nothing special about it. The dumpster contains a cat. Haha. Get cat. Examine cat. The furry black cat looks hungry and also pregnant. It's Frankenstein. Okay. Save. Replace existing game. 1. No. Okay, did that work? I assume so. Let's try again. Yes. Near start. Okay. Yeah, that's fine, that's saved. Illegal save value. Okay, so we don't go north. Don't go... west. What if we go east? Walk timidly into the office to find the recruiter sitting down at his computer. The walls of the room are plastered with posters of exotic places, high-tech spacecraft, and smiling recruits. The recruiter looks up to from his game of asteroids and motions toward a chair. Have a seat. Sit down. Sit on chair. Take a seat on the chair. Talk to recruiter. Hello. Hello? You start to say. He interrupts you and staring at the ceiling launches into the astonished bill. I just got a report today from Saturn Spaceport that the mining ship Red Dwarf needs somebody to do menial chores and stuff, but that's not important. What is really important is that if you take the job, you'll get regular pay and a free ticket back to Earth. Just think about it. Getting off this slum of a planet and returning to your home. You're from Earth, aren't you? Thought so. Well, what do you say? You want to take the job? Yes. Of course, you'll have to get rid of that cat first. You'll put it somewhere, come back when you're ready to go. Okay. Shove the cat under your jacket and hope it doesn't scratch you. There we go. Talk to... Actually, let's examine... Recruiter. The recruiter is the epitome of boring. Just like me for real. Alright, let's talk to this nerd again. Yeah, I'll sign up. Fabulous, sign here. You aren't sure what you just agreed to, but you shake his hand anyway. A few hours later, you find yourself on a shuttle lifting off into space. Nothing better to do, you fall asleep. Fiji! We made it to Fiji. You find yourself in Fiji, looking out upon the great utopian landscape, holding a pair of tongs in your hand. With the tongs, you take a large sausage out of a big metal box and place it on a hot dog bun. Carefully, you arrange the ketchup, mustard, and relish with perfect distribution. A Fiji knight pays you for your masterpiece and bites into the hot dog with raging hunger. A tear of joy runs slowly down your cheek. This is heaven. It's fun, fun, fun in the sun, sun, sun. The sound of maneuvering jets pulls you from your dream, and you look out of a portal onto a strange red planet. But this is no planet. This is a ship. The ship. At first, your mind cannot comprehend the enormity of such a structure. A huge structure. A huge red structure. We get the idea. It's red. The shuttle approaches a large docking bay and you unbuckle your seatbelt as it lands softly on the pad. The door opens, and after some trouble retrieving your baggage from the handy below-sea compartment, you exit the shuttle and enter the docking bay. You are escorted into the debriefing room. Drive room. This is a functional room. It is not designed to welcome those who have just completed a long journey through space or time. It contains enough chairs for a small orchestra and a view screen on which can be seen the grey, slightly distorted face of Holly, the ship's computer. Alright, here we go. Let's save. Yes. Arrived on Red Dwarf. Okay, examine Holly. What do you mean? Examine view screen? View screen displays the image of Holly, the ship's computer. Can't examine Holly though for some reason. Maybe it's case sensitive. Oh. Black and white image is one of a balding, middle-aged man. There we go. It is case sensitive. Good to know. Okay, talk to Holly. Clear your throat to begin. Room 99Z, Dave, says Holly, without even looking up. How do you know my name? I know everyone's name, Dave. What, Everyone on the ship? Yes, Dave. I have an IQ of 6,000. Holly then proceeds to give you directions to your room, ending with, it's right next to the airlock. Does that mean I'll be spacewalking? You joke. I don't know why List is Australian, just go with it. No, you'll be painting. Bloody hell, the old smegging ship. Yes, Dave. Room 99Z. Dave, goodbye. You walk to your room. As you enter, as if on cue, the cat leaps out from under your jacket and mews hungrily. Oh, there we go. Room 99Z. This is your boring grey substandard issue 2-person living quarters. Described in a real estate magazine, it would probably read 1 bed, 1 kitchen, 1 living/dining area, 1/8 bath, and a nook all in the same room. A bunk bed is set into the north wall, while a table rests against the south. Against the east wall is a sink and a mirror, and above the mirror is a view screen. There is a closet next to the door on the west wall. There is a cat here. There is a guitar here. There is a sock here. A sock! Bunk bed is set to the east wall. Yeah, north wall. Table rests against the south. East wall is a sink. View screen. Right, I need to hide the cat. Okay, let's get the cat. The very black cat looks hungry and also pregnant. Right. Right, we need to do something about this cat. There's nothing special about it. The closet contains a poster, a uniform, a shelf, and a spacesuit. Examine poster. Poster of Marilyn Monroe is attached to the door. Uniform. Uniform is a blindingly green jumpsuit. I wonder who that could belong to. There's nothing special about the shelf. The shelf contains a Crispies. Get Crispies? Get Crispies. Okay, we got Crispies. Gotta capitalise it. Crispies are fun to eat with the goodness of wheat, and oh, so sweet. Great. Let's have a look. Carrying toaster, cat card, Crispies. As we can. Maybe we should put the toaster on table. Done. Okay. There's a guitar here. There's a sock. Examine guitar. Your prized possession. You can't really play it, but examine sock. The sock seems to be lamenting the fate of its lost mate. Okay. Right, we need to do something with the cat. Look. Scruffy space bomb beams back at you. View screen displays the image of Holly, the ship's computer. Examine bed. Examine kitchen. Oh. Right, what else haven't we examined? Examine nook. See, you do not see a nook in the room. Examine table. Yeah, the table contains a toaster, a jigsaw, and a fish bowl. Okay. Examine jigsaw. Jigsaw will be a picture of Red Dwarf when completed. Examine fish bowl. Fish bowl contains a fish. Wow. Your two pet fish named Lennon and McCartney are mechanical. Okay, we're in keeping with the show. Alright, what does the walkthrough say? It's part of the ship's air circulation system. Right, we're supposed to put the cat in the vent. Like in the first episode. But nowhere in this description did it say anything about a vent, which is what's confusing me. Like, how am I supposed to know to put the cat in the vent if it doesn't tell me there's a vent? I suppose you'd know it from the show, but how do you know to follow that when it's not described here? Either way, put cat in vent. Let's just do that, shall we? No, we can't do that apparently. Drop cat. Oh. Open vent. Put cat in vent. You close the vent and conceal Frankenstein. Not a moment too soon. Just as you do, a skinny man in a bright green jumpsuit enters. He's a second technician, a very, very low rank, but he outranks you. My name is Arnold Rimmer, and my friends call me Duke, or sometimes Ace. I'm your new roommate, so get used to it. I'll make an officer out of you yet. You don't look like you can make an officer out of a German youth. In this case, it is a perfect judgment. Don't you have a chip to paint, you boit? Get to work, he replies, handing you what can only be described as a giant paintbrush. Examine Rimmer. You do not see a Rimmer in this room. I don't know how to respond to that. There we go. Capitalizing. Important. He's dressed in an obscenely green jumpsuit and stands up a bit too straight. Okay, so we're painting the outside of the ship, aren't we? So we need to get the space suit from the closet. Okay, wear space suit. We're now wearing the space suit, and the jacket should be in my inventory. Oh no, we're wearing the jacket and the space suit. That's also fine. Probably. Right, let's get out of here. The main corridors of the ship are overwhelming, stretching off in all directions and filled with busy crew members. Navigating them is rather like driving through Los Angeles, only the corridors don't have exit signs. You only know how to get to 3 places yet: the room to the east, the airlock to the south, and the bridge roughly to the north. Rightio. So we need to go to the airlock, don't we? Let's save. Replace existing game. Go painting. Oh no. Why go painting? Done. Right. South. You are standing in the airlock, a fact made plain by the giant red word airlock, which adorns the wall. Below it are 2 controls. First is a small green button labelled Inner Doors. The second is a large red lever. Below the lever is an important looking sign. Apart from that, this room is as boring as Ishtar. Okay, read sign. Always close inner doors before opening airlock. That makes sense. Okay. First is a small green button labelled inner doors. So, push button. The inner doors close and sealed tightly. Then, pull lever. The outer doors burst open and air rushes out into space. Okay. You are on an insignificant speck standing on a small steel platform on the outside of the Red Dwarf. You feel like a baby flea on the back of the world's largest dog, only smaller. From here, you have access to a large portion of the side of Red Dwarf, a portion which you could not paint in less than a year. The paint on the side of the ship seems to be fading. Paint the ship then. You activate the paintbrush and begin to apply paint to the side of Red Dwarf. From here on, your life gets rather dull for a month or so we will just skip to all the good stuff. You've spent a month eating, drinking, feeding Frankenstein, and dreaming of Christine Kachansky, the woman you love who hardly knows you exist. A month later, you are once again outside painting when you are ordered by Spacey Radio to report to the captain's office. How interesting. Alright. Right, we're still outside, so let's go into the airlock. We pull the lever. Then we push the button. Say, look at this. Third technician. Okay, so we're at the airlock. So if we go north, in the main corridors, our room is to the east. Airlock to the south, and the bridge is roughly to the north. Right, off we go. Upon entering this room, one would not expect it to be the bridge. It is not the grand superstructure bridge of warships, but just another room on the ship. And this one has lots of complex computer equipment. It also has lots of officers who very much outrank you. The entrance to the captain's office is off to the west. Kachansky is standing there. Examine Kachansky. Respectfully, please. She beams her pinball smile at you and your heart flutters. Lovely. Can we muster up the courage to talk to Kachansky? You finally thought of an open line. You smile to yourself, then approach her and ask, "Where's the captain's office?" "Right over there, where it says captain's office, where it's always said captain's office." Undaunted, you continue by asking, "Do you know why he wants to see me?" "I think you're being promoted to admiral." What a woman! You find yourself deeply in love. For her part, Chrissy leaves the room. Okay, there's nothing much else. So I guess we go to the west. This is the office of Captain Hollister, the well-liked captain of the Red Dwarf. He is currently hard at work on some bit of paperwork or other, and has not yet noticed that you are here. He is a very busy man, and only something very important would cause him to summon you, a lowly peon, to his office. You feel like a kid who's been summoned to the principal's office, which just about sums up your entire academic career. Alright. Examine Hollister. The middle-aged, somewhat chubby man looks very annoyed. Oh dear. Let's save. One. Try that again. Nice. One. Talk to Captain. Excuse me, sir, you wanted to see me? That's the cat. What cat? Mister, not only are you so stupid you bring an unquarantined animal aboard this ship and jeopardize its entire crew, you also take a picture of yourself with the animal and send it to our labs to be developed. Don't you remember what happened on the Oregon with the rabbits? Mister, a loose cat on this ship could get anywhere. It could get inside Holly. A little nibble here and a little nibble there, and the next thing you know, we'd be flying backwards. Now I'm only asking one more time. Where's the cat? Just supposing I did have a cat. Just supposing. What would you do with Frankenstein? I'd send it down to the lab and have it cut up and tests run on it. Oh. Okay. Would you put it back together afterward? Lester, the cat would be dead. Well then, with respect, sir, what's in it for the cat? Lester, I want that cat. Not as easy as that, though. Me and the cat, we're going to have a baby cat, and we're going to buy a little farm on Fiji, and we're going to get a sheep and a cow and breed horses. With a sheep and a cow? No, with horses and horses. It's me plan, and no one can stop me, not even you, sir. And I do respect you. Lester, are you going to give me that cat? Ooh. Ooh, what do we do? What do we do? Sad to leave after talking of the location of Frankenstein. She is found and destroyed, and you wake up the next day with regret at having sacrificed part of your dream that includes your cat. But it really didn't matter. 1 week later, a drive plate explodes, radiating the ship and killing the entire crew. You are dead. Bloody heartless. 37 points, we have the intelligence of a fern. Okay. Wasn't the best thing to do. Okay. Right. Load. Restore. 1. Okay, this time I'm not going to give up the cat. Then you'll leave me only one option. You're suspended for the rest of the trip. You'll spend the rest of the trip in stasis and you'll receive no pay. And Lister, you realize we'll find that cat, even without your help. Still, I admire your nobility. You're escorted to the stasis booth. The booth is very small and induces an immediate sense of claustrophobia. You would hate to spend any time in here, yet it is not possible to spend any time in here. You see, the stasis field creates a static field in time. Just as X-rays cannot pass through lead, time cannot pass through the stasis field. So although you exist, you no longer exist in time, and for you, time itself does not exist. Though you are still a mass, you are no longer an event in space-time. You are a non-event mass with a quantum probability of 0. The voice of Holly intones, proceed to drive room for debriefing. Okay. Okay. Our dwarf contains thousands of nondescript corridors, yet I will try to describe this one. Like the others, it is somewhat dark and murky. It's been painted a uniform military grey for over a year now, ever since it was entirely repainted to replace the original, very similar ocean grey. It's very easy to get lost in the corridors of Red Dwarf, so try to learn your way around. Okay. This is a functional room. It is not designed to welcome those who have just completed a long journey through space or time. It contains enough chairs for a small orchestra. Yeah, okay. Already been here. See the face of Holly. So where is everyone, Hol? They're dead, Dave. Everybody is. What, Captain Hollister? Everybody's dead, Dave. What, Todd Hunter? Everybody's dead, Dave. What, Selby? They're all dead. Everybody's dead, Dave. Peterson isn't, is he? Everybody's dead, Dave. Not Chen. Yes, Chen, everybody's dead, Dave. Rimmer, he's dead, everybody's dead, Dave. Ollie, are you trying to tell me everybody's dead? I should have never let you out in the first place. How? The drive plate was inefficiently repaired. It blew, and everyone was subjected to a lethal dose of Caprium-2 before I could seal the area. Go onto the bridge and see for yourself. Okay. It's the intersection of two corridors on this level. You think a moment to remember that the ship's bridge is just to the north of here. Some steps lead down to the east and into the drive room. You don't recall going down the corridor to the west before you went to stasis, but you're quite sure your room is somewhere to the south. Okay. I'm just going to make a note of that. Stasis. Bridge. Room. Airlock. Okay. I've got a very basic map. Go to the bridge. Okay. Off we pop. Upon entering this room, one would not expect it to be the bridge. It is not the grand superstructure bridge of warships, but yeah. Okay. Before you is the chair in which the beautiful Kachansky used to sit and the console to which she used to work. Holly's face appears several times around the room. Why are there little piles of dust all over the place, all? Like this one, you ask, pointing to a pile on the chair where Kachansky sat. That is Console Officer Christine Kachansky. You mean Chris is dead? Not again, Dave. Yes, she's dead. I don't suppose it's any consolation, but if she were still alive, the age difference will be insurmountable. Not Chrissy. I never got round to telling her. But she was the main part of my plan. She was going to ride the horses. She won't be much use to you now. Not unless it snows and you need something to grit the path with. Ollie! Oh, it's carried on. Sorry, I've been on my own for 3 million years. And I've gotten used to saying what I think. I think I've gone a bit peculiar. 3 million years! Well, I had to wait till the radiation reached a safe background level, didn't I? Not only that, we've been travelling in a straight line. And if we do turn around now... That's where I was. It'll take another 3 million years to get back to Earth. Hello, Goddess here. Good evening. Happy Thursday. So it's just the two of us alone in dead space? Not quite. First of all, there seems to be a kind of life form down on deck 37. Secondly, this ship can project a hologrammatic replica of a dead crew member, so I've chosen the only person most likely to keep you sane. Just as Holly finishes talking, Rimmer enters the room. Oh. What is this? This is a text adventure game. Adventure, I use the word loosely, based on the TV series Red Dwarf. At the moment, we're basically going through the first episode. So at least I kind of know what I'm doing. Yep, a good old-fashioned text adventure. You type in instructions, the game gives you stuff, and you basically wander around trying to work out what to do because the game never tells you. Classic text adventure. Yep, text adventures are the oldest of the old. Back before computer graphics were a thing. You can only get text. Yep, pure imagination. Just gonna have to imagine the pictures. Okay, so let's examine Rimmer. He's dressed in an obscenely green jumpsuit and stands up a bit too straight. Talk to Rimmer. Rimmer, how are you, mate? Apart from the fact I'm dead, just lovely. Alright, well, that's great. Rimmer is standing here. This requires a lot of patience, not my... Yeah, I don't like them either. I've played so many of these games. They ain't much fun unless you want to sit down and yeah, learn everything. Draw your own map. Remember all the different instructions you can do. It's... yeah. They take some getting used to. For sure. Alright, let's try this. This is a fairly simple room, though somewhat more elegant and well-lit than the rest of the ship. It was formerly occupied by the late Captain Hollister, who is not here at the moment for obvious reasons. The room is simply furnished, containing only a cluttered desk and a chair. An elegant photo of Red Dwarf dominates the wall opposite the door. Examine table. Examine desk. The desk is made of fine mahogany wood. The desk contains a pen. The desk contains a dwarf. The desk contains a report. Examine dwarf. The captain keeps a small statue of a dwarf on his desk as a paperweight. I'll have that. Hidden under the dwarf you find a key. Ooh. Hello. It is a golden key-shaped item. It's because it's a key. Alright. I'll have that. Can we read the report? Why does this work exactly like AI? I suppose it's the same kind of idea, but this only recognises very simple commands. It only recognises look, examine, get, read, that sort of thing. Whatever you program it to do. It's very simple. Don't ask it to do anything other than get or read or examine. yeah, it's got specific commands that you'd have to program in to make do things. Anything more than that, forget it. And you've got to type them exactly right. Like, it won't interpret anything. Okay, subject, second technician, Rimmer. Arnold J. Some men were born to lead. Rimmer, on the other hand, only outranks the newest member of the crew, third technician Lister. And yet he cannot effectively command his subordinate. He's already filed 5 reports of insubordination and 1 count of mutiny, the latter stemming from that time when Lister stepped on his foot. Promotion prospects, laughable. Brilliant. Okay. Cool. Talk to Rimmer. Rimmer, how are you, mate? Other than the fact I'm dead, just lovely. Yeah, the trouble with text adventures is they are all barely video games. That's what I'm gonna say. Takes a lot of effort to write all this, but that's it. Rather swim 7 oceans than play this. Yeah, me too. I think I would as well. But I'm locked in now. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get this done. Alright, talk to Rimmer. So we've talked to Rimmer. Let's have a look at this key again. It's a key-shaped item. That's good. Right, okay, I want to have a look at the photo. It is spectacular. The captain took it himself. Get photo? Look behind photo. You find nothing. You were expecting a safe, perhaps? Maybe. Made a lot of song and dance about the photo. Right, okay. Okay, so what if we go west? This is not just a corridor, no, this is a main corridor. In fact, loudly proclaimed by the bit of faded paint on the wall right next to the paint that reads Turbo Lift Deck 16. The sign is no more useful with the first, as you can plainly see the main turbo lift just to the west of you. The word turbo lift is somewhat of a misnomer, as the word turbo usually implies a certain amount of speed, whereas on Red Dwarf it is faster to take the stairs, despite the fact that the ship has no stairs. It would improve vocabulary and patience. Very true. Okay, I'm making a map here. Right. So we're back at this intersection. Our room is to the south. It's only slightly more interesting than the others. Okay, examine a food dispenser. It is a standard voice-activated food dispenser. Talk to dispenser. How may I help you? Asks the high, tinny voice of the machine. What do you reply? Give me a burger. The machine spits out a bucket. That's a bucket. I know, that malfunction has been reported. Thanks for the bucket. Okay, let's save. Save new game. 3 million years later. Boop. Cool. This particular corridor comes from the north and curves off to the west. Okay. You recognize this location as it is just west of your room. Okay. To the south is an open door which resembles an elevator. The word airlock painted just above the door. Perhaps a clue that it is an airlock. Okay. So if we go east, we'll get into our room. Okay. Let's go west again. Further wandering through the corridors brings you to what seems to be another crew quarters to the east. More corridors stretch out in all directions, which really isn't surprising. You've entered the quarters formerly shared by Chen and your best buddy, Culinary Officer Olaf Peterson. Not surprisingly, the room resembles a college dorm. There's a spectacular assortment of junk littering the floor. The rest of the room is nearly identical to your own, including the bunk bed, the sink and mirror, the view screen, and the closet. There's a giant moose head on the wall. Interesting. The closet contains wardrobe, the closet contains a shelf. Examine shelf. Contains a sandwich. That sandwich is probably 3 million years old, but let's have a look at it. It's your favourite kind, a fried egg sandwich with chili sauce and chutney. Why not? 3 million-year-old sandwich. I'll grab the yo-yo as well. It's a familiar popped-up can. Get it. Right, we're carrying a lot of stuff. North. Okay, let's go in the turbo lift. The small room is the Red Dwarf equivalent of an elevator, but it bears a strong resemblance to a small airliner. There are several rows of cushioned seats crowded into the smallest possible space, all facing a small holographic projector, designed to keep passengers comfortable during transit between floors, which can take as long as 4.5 hours. It's a big ship. During peak activity periods before the accident, in-lift meals were served and in-lift movies were shown. Examine chair. Do not see a chair in the room. Examine seats, nothing special about them. Right, can we activate this thing? It's on the seat. There we go. You take a seat in the less than comfortable chair. As you do, the projector springs to life and a hologram of a woman appears. A Pereiras. Welcome to Express Lifts. Which floor, please? Just floor 1 to 50. Jeez. 1. The hologrammatic woman launches into the standard electron emergency procedure by pointing and saying, "If you look to your left and to your right, you will notice there are no exits. In the highly unlikely event of the lift having to make a crash landing, death is certain. Under your seat, you'll find a cassette for recording your last will and testament, and from above your head a bag will drop containing sedatives and cyanide capsules. To take the cyanide capsules, simply break open like so and place under your tongue. She demonstrates as she does this, then falls over dead." The recording shuts off. The lift stops. Floor 1. Okay. What does it make sound? This room is essentially a porch. The ceiling is made entirely of glass, affording us an astounding view of the stars overhead, and giving the odd impression of being outdoors. Directly opposite the turbo lift, there is a solid oak door with a brass knocker. There is a doormat here. Okay. It's a bit odd. Examine doormat. It's a simple brown doormat. Look under doormat. Only extremely stupid people hide keys under a doormat. Shut up, game. But we did find a key in the captain's office. There you go. Captain's quarters. This has to be the only room with appealing decorating on Red Dwarf. It is a spacious room, softly lit, with oak furniture and rich burgundy carpeting from wall to wall. The walls themselves contain a fantastic assortment of photos, all of which were taken by the captain. A sofa faces the largest view screen you have ever seen. A table and several chairs, all of oak, suggest that the captain often entertains visitors. Funny you were never invited. There is a bedroom to the north. Okay. Examine table. It's much nicer than the one in your room, you third technician. Examine chair. You do not see a chair in the room. Examine chairs. Examine photos. The various photos were all taken by the captain. Okay. Right into the bedroom. You are not at all surprised to find a bed here. It is a king-size bed with burgundy sheets. To match the colour scheme, there is a large closet set into the eastern wall. Next to the bed is a large dresser. You briefly consider moving into this room, then decide it doesn't fit your image. Alright. Okay, should we open the dresser? The dresser can't be opened. But it has a drawer. There's nothing special about it. The drawer contains a film. Interesting. A roll of used, undeveloped slide film. Take film. Okay. Open. So that's the dresser. Let's try the closet. Closet is set to the wall. The closet contains a wardrobe. Examine wardrobe. This is exactly the set of clothes you would expect a captain to wear. Okay. Alright, there's nothing else here. Do. Okay, sit on seat 2. This floor is for officers only and far too posh for your tastes. Okay. Okay, we can probably go through all the different floors. There's nothing on this floor but crew quarters and the like. Which floor did we come from? It's fine. I'm not going to go through every floor. Be here forever. Don't know what's on this floor and don't care to. Let's do every 5th floor. This is just a level of the hall that contains nothing of interest. Alright, to skip ahead. The guide says to go to floor 37, so that's what we'll do. 37. You're standing in a nondescript portion of the hold, the large portion of the ship devoted to storage. Actually, there are other things which make this portion of the hold distinct from the others. One is the turbolift, which is just to the west. There is an eerie glow coming from a small room to the north. Ooh. Scary. This portion of the hold has been converted, it seems, into a sort of temple. At least, that is what you would assume from what appears to be a sort of small altar. However, the giant hot dog in the middle of the room makes you wonder. Examine hot dog. It looks exactly like a hot dog would look if hot dogs were 3 meters long. It's a big hot dog. I'm interested in this giant hot dog. How much will you sell it to me for? This is a small corner of the hold, tucked away and easily defended. It is here that Cat stores all the shiny things he's acquired over the years. This is his main activity, the discovering and collecting of shiny things. He also sleeps here often, but then he sleeps everywhere often. Same applies to eating and especially applies to grooming. Cat is standing here. Ah, yeah, we found the cat. There is a box here, there is a mirror here, there is a necklace here. Let's examine cat. Cat, apart from two large gleaming incisors, bears little resemblance to a cat at all. He looks more like a startlingly handsome man with sleek black hair and skin. He is dressed in an extravagant maroon suit and is immaculately groomed. Talk to cat. Cat is too busy preening himself to reply. Okay. Examine box. There is a small red box with white lettering that reads Holly Hop Drive. We would like that. Okay, we've got the box. So if we give that to Holly, in theory, we can hop back to Earth, maybe? Maybe. Alright, we're going to give the yo-yo to Cat, because he likes shiny things. Cat grabs the yo-yo, shouting, "Shiny thing!" He examines it, then holds it in the air with the string dangling below it. Bats at the string and yells, "See the string? Get that string!" After several minutes, he seems to grow bored when he suddenly remembers your presence. "You're not so bad for a poorly dressed monkey. Think I'll hang out with you for a while." Thanks, Cat. Alright. We are getting somewhere. Hello, Cap. Good evening. Let's save. To. No. Okay. Was there anything else here? Get mirror. Examine necklace. The necklace is gold plated and extraordinarily shiny. Give me that necklace. I don't know if I need it. Right, I'm carrying around a bunch of crap. Look at all this. Card, Crispies, paintbrush, dwarf, sandwich box, mirror, necklace, bucket, film, can. I'm wearing a jacket and a spacesuit. Okay, I think we can take off the spacesuit. There we go. I just look silly walking around in a spacesuit. Cat is standing here. Alright, Cat's following me. Good. Okay, sit on seat. So now we're going to floor 16. This is not just a corridor. No, this is a main corridor. Act loudly proclaimed by fitted faded paint on the wall right next to the paint that reads Turbo Lift Deck 16. Oh yeah. It did say that, didn't it? That's how we know where we came from. This sign is no more useful with the first, as Turbo Lift is somewhat of a misnomer, as the word turbo usually implies a certain amount of speed, whereas on Red Dwarf it's faster to take the stairs, but the fact that the ship has no stairs. Cat is standing here. Anything insightful, Cat? Nope. Okay. What do you want, Dave? Help. Previous action, brief. Inventory, look, save, score. Read carefully. Okay. Yes, everybody look. We can't go south. Can we go west? Can Go east. Can't go east. North. The captain's office. Further wandering through the corridors brings you to what seems to be another crew quarters to the east. More corridors stretch in all directions. You need a drink. The reason for the widening of the corridors is that you have reached the docking bay, a cavernous room which can be seen through a giant portal to the west. Okay, there's the docking bay. Peterson's room. Interesting. Assembly hall. Equipment room. Peterson's room. Captain's room. Right, we're in the turbo lift. East. Medical lab. That's where I want to be. You walk into a cold, sterile, white room, which you immediately recognize as the medical lab. It seems that even the passing of 3,000 millennia has not removed the smell of antiseptic from the air. There is an examining table in the corner which stands next to a large stainless steel cabinet. Cat is standing there. Let's have a look. Examine table. There is nothing special about it. Open cabinet. Examine cabinet. The cabinet is made of stainless steel. This cabinet contains medicine. It is the nighttime, coughing, sneezing, stuffy head fever, so you can rest. Medicine. Sounds pretty good. I'll have it. Examine scalpel. The surgical device consists of a small, sharp blade. Give me that scalpel. What else is there? There's a tray. Examine tray. The small metal tray is used by the medics to hold their tools. Look, I'm just taking all this crap. Game's giving me unlimited inventory space. I'm having it all. Okay. So we're back on the bridge. We've got Kat, Rimmer, and Holly with us. So let's talk to Holly. What do you want, Dave? I don't know. Talk to Cat. This is one big ship. Thanks, Cat. Talk to Rimmer. What is that thing? Asks Rimmer, staring at Cat. Apparently, Lister's cat survived the accident and had kittens. Holly breaks in. You know how humans beings evolved from apes? Well, he evolved from cats. His ancestors were cats. He is a cat. Well, I want it off the ship. No, you interject. He's coming home with me. Home? Where is home? Earth, of course. Earth? Lister, what makes you think there will still be an Earth? And even if there is, look at what 3 million years has done to a household pet. Can you imagine what humankind has evolved into? To them, you'll be the equivalent of the slime that first crawled out of the oceans. I could smarten myself up a bit. Besides, I've still got me plan, and I've still got a cat. It's not Frankenstein, but he's still a cat. Here, Cat speaks for the first time. You say Frankenstein, the Virgin Mother? Yeah, I remember that stuff from kiddy school. The Holy Mother saved by the cloister. The stupid. Who was frozen in time. And who shall returneth to lead us to Fushal, the promised land. It's me, Lister the Stupid. And I'm gonna lead you there. Ollie, set a course for Fiji. Look out, Earth, the slime's coming home. There you go, there's my rendition of the first episode. Brilliant. Okay, now what? Okay, well, we've ended the first episode. I don't know what to do now. Examine pile. This is a pile of white parry dust. Right. Put pile in bucket, apparently. Oh. Helps if I spell pile right. There you go. Alright, Rimmer's following me now. Excellent. Docking bay. You're standing in the tremendously, humongously gigantic structure that is the docking bay. Built to accommodate ships that have docking bays of their own, it provides more than enough space for a small Middle Eastern country. At the moment, though, it is all but empty, save for a small globular spaceship far to the north. Well then. Starbug. If ever a craft were appropriately named, this is it. This small craft serves as the primary transport used by the crew of Red Dwarf to explore a planet for minerals and take planet leave. The back end of the craft, in which you currently reside, is in the abdomen of Starbug and was designed to cart mining equipment and people. A small door leads to the cockpit. Okay. Excellent, let's save again. Place existing game. To yes. On board Starbug. Cool. Alright, we're getting somewhere. Right, I need to have a quick break, I think. But do not go anywhere, because I believe we've got to be getting close to the end, so... I will come back, and we'll quickly wrap this up. Right, back in a mo. Oh wait, there we go, I was muted as well. I can't switch to the BRB screen for the stream deck, so I have to do it through OBS, because OBS updated, and never update OBS. Right, back in a minute. Alrighty. We're back. We're back on the Dwarf. Shall we get this game done? I think we should. Right, what do we got? Where were we? We were in Starbug, weren't we? You are now in the head of Starbug. A single seat faces a complex instrument panel. A large windscreen affords a view of what is outside Starbug. You have never flown a spacecraft before and do not have a pilot's license, but your mate Peterson once told you that it's a piece of cake. But then, he's never flown either. Oh. Panel looks simple enough to operate. Okay then. You operate the controls and clumsily Starbug responds. The docking bay doors swing open automatically and Starbug lurches out into open space. It drifts magnificently among the stars. You're piloting the craft jerkily through space, attention focused intently on the controls when Cat points at what seems to be a large flaming hole in space and asks, "What is it?" "Oh, that's a time hole," you reply, smug about your knowledge of astrophysics. Then you realise you were headed straight for it. Before you can change course, the hole engulfs you. A few seconds later, Starbug comes to a rough landing on an unknown surface. Oh. Do you not see a rimmer in the room? Oh. Okay, talk to Cat. You telling me this thing can fly? Apparently. There's Rimmer. Rimmer, what's the situation? Rimmer smiles nervously and says, "Why don't you have a look around? I'll just stay here and guard Starbug, just in case." Yeah, brilliant. You are standing in a small clearing in the middle of a large forest. The landscape looks distinctly earthen, though you cannot place the time period. Starbug has landed in the northern edge of the clearing. A dirt path leads into the forest to the east. Alright, come on, Cat. A little ways into the forest, the path leads to a paved two-laned road, where a small sign by the side of the road which points to the south. There seems to be signs of a small town. As you can see nothing for many miles to the north, you decide to go that way. Read sign. It reads not null. Below that, set him free. We're in season 3, episode 1. Backwards. Alright. We skipped 2 seasons. Right, so we're heading south, aren't we? Follow the road for a quarter mile or so until you come to the bank of a river just west of where you stand. There is a large man sitting here. He seems to be fishing. Next to him is a pail of fish and a shoebox full of worms, 2 items not usually found on people who aren't fishing. Opposite the river is the entrance to a small graveyard. Perhaps that's where he got the worms from. Bit weird. Okay. We're standing in a quaint English town in what appears to be the late 20th century, nearly 250 years before your time. Yet something is wrong with the 2 buildings on either side of the street. One is named Porn. I suppose it's meant to be pawn shop, but it's spelled wrong. While the other seems to be Bub Edloe, ye old pub. Any further progress to the south is blocked by a destruction zone, where apparently new buildings are being demolished. Any insights, Cat? Why is the ceiling blue? Why is it so high? That is what we call the sky, Cat. Alright. The warm comfort of a good English pub. Your mind wanders back to the fateful birthday when you toured every pub in London. You can only remember the first 5 or so. When your memory resumes, you are lying nude in a locker in a bus station on Saturn, which led to your joining Red Dwarf in an attempt to get back home again. Still, it was almost worth it, you think, as your glance falls on the distracted woman working behind the bar and the forlorn look of an empty bar stool. Okay, it's on bar stool. As soon as you take a seat at the bar, The woman comes over and hands you a mug, which to your surprise is empty. To your further surprise, appears to have been recently emptied by another customer. Greatly puzzled, you turn to the man sitting next to you and watch as he brings his mug to his lips, and beer quickly runs out of his mouth and into the mug. It is as though you are watching a film of a man drinking, played backwards. When he finishes, or perhaps starts, the woman comes over and hands him some money. He grunts, "Dick's rope, brewski," and walks out of the pub. True to form, backwards. Okay, put lager in mug. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Okay, examine mug. Put mug in. Put lager in mug. Yeah, I want to make lager. Oh, right. Need to open the can in my inventory. Alright, good job I got the can. Carefully pour the lager into the mug. Show mug to woman. After a quick glance to determine that no one is watching too closely, you can bring the mug to your lips and take as much lager into your mouth as you can. It tastes delicious and you are tempted to swallow, but with an effort you restrain yourself. Instead, you pretend to drink in reverse, slowly tilting the mug away from you, and allowing the lager to run out of your mouth and into the mug. When the mug is full again, you decisively slam it onto the counter. The woman, without looking up, wanders over, grabs the mug, and drops a coin onto the bar. You smile as you utter the word, "Shrub," and get up to leave, reluctant to leave the comfy bar stool. Okay, let's grab that coin. Alright, now we're back outside. Use this in the pawn shop, I guess. The first thing which one notices upon entering this shop is the choking mass of tobacco smoke which clogs the air. Through grey clouds of it you can see a little swarthy man standing behind a counter with a cigarette in his hand. That would explain the smoke, certainly. Curiously, there are no items on display here. There must be quite a demand for pawned goods in town. How odd. Talk to owner? You do not see an owner in the room. Talk to man. Mangrables, Yishin Eva. Have a nice day. Okay. Give coin to man. The man accepts the coin and pockets it, grumbling, "Shit, I evigly klum the ton that." Oh god, it keeps going. He lucky mek he plagotop imos dna levosa. A shovel and some photography chemical. That's not worth much. I'll give you this. He thinks for a moment, then places a shovel and a small bottle of something on the counter, and resumes smoking. Okay, take shovel. Take chemical. Take bottle. What's this all about? There's nothing special about it. I guess it's photo developing chemical. And we did pick up that film, which I assume is useful at some point. Right, now we go to the graveyard. You have never cared for the grim soberness of graveyards, but this particular one has a different feel to it somehow. It has an intangible quality of joy. Maybe you've been in space too long. You stand before what seems to be a recently filled in grave, which lacks a headstone. Oh. Oh, okay. I think I see what's going on here. Okay. Put some music on. Dig. You grab the shovel and dig into the loose earth. Oh dear. Normally this would be called grave robbing, but you have a feeling that things are different in this world. 20 minutes later you have made a nice hole in the ground. Philosophically speaking, is it truly possible to see a hole? That's a good one. Good one. Very good, very good. What's my inventory? Book contains a pile. Okay, apparently we put the pile in the hole. We fill the hole. You again set to work on moving over with a shovel. You pat the hot saw back into place and find a comfortable spot to take a rest. You glory in the warm sun and drift off it to sleep. You find yourself in Fiji, looking out upon the great utopian landscape. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, same dream. Once again you are jerked from your dream world, this time by the sound of a funeral procession. Solemn men dressed in somber black are lifting a casket out of a hole in the exact spot you so recently buried the ashes of Chrissy. The casket is placed in a hearse which drives off in reverse onto the road and out of sight to the north. Right, okay, so what we're doing is, because everything's going backwards, we're taking Kachansky's remains, we're burying them, and then, in theory, her death happens in reverse and she comes back to life. Yeah, this is not in the episode backwards, but I see where it's going. I don't know how I was supposed to know that the pile I picked up was Kachansky's. I thought it was Rimmer's. Right, here we are. Okay. To the north then, I guess. Can't go north. Okay, right. West. North. A little ways into the forest, the path leads to a paved two-lane road. There is a small sign by the side of the road, which points to the south. There seems to be signs of a small town. You see nothing. Kachansky's here. She beams her pinball smile at you and your heart flutters. Chrissy, I never got the chance to tell you, but I've been in love with you since the day I first saw you. Will you come to back the Red Dwarf with me? I look through. I mean, of course I will. I've loved you ever since I will meet you in 5 years on this world. Tree. Only I won't, because I'm leaving now. Living in two different worlds can be so confusing. Ogstill. That's very confusing. Of course I will, yeah. Okay, so this game was released 96. Actually, it might have been might have been developed a bit earlier than that. So I'm wondering if it was actually made before Kachansky became a main cast member, which would make sense, because obviously this doesn't happen in the show. Interesting. Either way, this is what we're doing. Right, okay, so Kachansky's doing something. That's very confusing, but okay. Don't feel like walking that far. Right, we're in a clearing. You're standing in a small clearing in the middle of a large forest. The landscape looks distinctively earthen. Though you cannot place the time period. Yeah. Alright, come on. Into Starbuck. Alright, we've got Rimmer, Kachansky, and Cat. What do you think, Rimmer? Why don't you have a look around? I'll just stay here and guard Starbug. Just in case, yeah. You operate the controls and clumsily Starbug responds. Starbug lifts off and accelerates rapidly towards orbit, a few thousand feet up, hit the still open time hole and are engulfed. Moments later, you are drifting in space within sight of Red Dwarf. The time hole slowly shrinks out of existence. Okay. You operate the controls and clumsily Starbug responds. Seeing nowhere else to go, you turn Starbug back towards Red Dwarf. A few minutes later, you bring the craft into a crunching halt in the cargo bay. Okay, but now we've got the chemical to develop the photo. Right, I see where this is going. So in whatever episode it was, where they find the Hollyhock drive, they can teleport to anywhere that they have a photo of. So we found a film with a photo on it. I don't know what's on the film. Can we see? Nope. But I suppose we developed the film, then we used the Hollyhock drive to go wherever he is. Okay, south. East. West. Can't go west. Docking bay. Equipment room. This is a tiny room which contains only a small table originally designed to store items which might be needed in the nearby docking bay, which was converted into a dark room of sorts by the captain, who in his spare time was a major photography buff. He chose this room because, when the door is closed, it is the darkest room on the ship. Darkness is an important quality in a dark room. Kachansky is standing there. Cat's run off, okay, and Rimmer. Well, it's fine. Right. Round table. Put chemical in tray. Examine bottle. Open bottle. Write the seal on the bottle. It's chemical. Put chemical in tray. Put film in tray. You don't know much about film developing, but you expose the film and place it in the tray with the chemicals. There's line there, all the film. Okay. Okay. Right, I should have closed the door. Right. Okay. Go back, do that all again. Right, back in the clearing. Go east, go south, go south. Go east, go to the pub. Right, what are we doing here? In a bar stool, open can. Put lager in can. Put lager in mug, sorry. Show mug to woman. Get coin. Give coin to man. Get shovel. Get bottle. Use shovel. dig. Fill grave. Fill hole. There you go. Then North. Talk to Kachansky. Okay, use panel. Use panel. Okay, back to Red Dwarf. Back in the docking bay. Let's save new game. Equipment room. Yeah, the door is closed. Let's check, turn off lights. Okay, I've closed the door. I assume it's dark. Put tray on table. Open bottle. Put chemical in tray. Put film in tray. You don't know much about film developing, but you expose the film and place it in the tray with the chemicals. You ruin most of the film due to inexperience. However, you do manage to develop a single slide. You wonder if the fact that the chemical was from a backwards universe has affected the slide. There's something unusual about the slide, but you aren't quite sure what. That doesn't really give me much to go on, does it? Alright, get slide. Open door. This is the cavernous room in which Kevin's playing the entire crew of Red Dwarf. It sits waiting in seminar. Examination, which is to be held here a few years after the accident occurred. There are no seats here at the moment. It seems whoever was setting up for the seminar was running late and hadn't gotten that far. But I only had time to set up for the slideshow. There's a slide projector sitting on a small table, facing a large white screen. Okay. Put slide in projector. Cannot be done. White screen. Examine projector. Top of the projector is a carousel. There we go. What do you mean this cannot be done? Oh. Open carousel. Done. Close carousel. Right, now we activate the projector. See what happens. The projector springs to life, casting a sharp image onto the once empty screen. The image is a familiar one. It is the Bridge of Red Dwarf. You are at once disappointed, as you were hoping for, well, anything you had never seen before. You must admit, though, that the picture is astoundingly crisp and lifelike, as though you could simply walk into the screen. Okay. While standing on the bridge of Red Dwarf, you are actually standing here, and this is well before the accident occurred. You could tell by the absence of dust and the well-maintained state of things. Unfortunately, the captain always took his photographs when the rest of the crew was off duty, so as not to appear to be goofing off while everyone else worked. As a consequence, the bridge is deserted, except that is for Holly. Right, and if we give Holly the hop drive before the accident, we'll get back to Earth in time. And we'll never go into stasis. Nobody will die. Brilliant. So, give box to Holly, maybe? What's this then, Dave? It's supposed to be some kind of drive system. It's obviously the product of a brilliant mind. It's yours, Hol? Exactly. Leave it here and I'll have a look at it. Okay. Dave, I didn't expect to see you here tonight. Oh, there's going to be an accident. In 3 million years, everyone on board will be dead. Really, Dave? Just 3 million years? Why don't you lay off on the lager, Dave? Alright, now we're inside the Red Dwarf in the photograph. Okay. I think. Kachansky's still following us. I don't know if that's the one from the photograph or the one here. The one that we resurrected from the dead. I think it's that one. I think. Where are we going, Dave? Don't ask me. Okay. This is the intersection of two main corridors. There's no anything coming from the ship's bridge just to the north of here. And we've gone back to the real bridge. So we've actually affected the past by using the film. It makes sense, kind of. Upon entering this room, one would not expect it to be the bridge. It is not the great superstructure, bridge of warships, just another room on the ship, only this one's lots of complex computer equipment. Before you is the chair in which the beautiful Kachansky used to sit, blah 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 blah. On the center console is the Holly hop drive. I've done it, Dave. What, you mean it works? Perfectly. Have you tested it? No. Okay, push button. Nothing perceptible happens. We're here, Dave. Earth. We're not entirely sure you believe him. Perhaps he has gone a bit computer senile. Not halty. What do you want, Dave? Right, now we need to remember. How to get to the docking bay. No, don't go in the airlock. How do we get to the airlock? I mean, the cargo bay. Okay. Right, we're on the bridge. Oh no, we're on the fake bridge. Right. Right, we're on the real bridge. So we go south. Okay, we're on the real bridge. West, north, west. Here we go. North. Okay, we're now in the head of Starbug. Rimmer's here, Kachansky's here, Kat is here, the whole gang is here. When are we taking off? I didn't know you could fly, Dave. Neither did I. Talk to Kat. Kat is sound asleep. Right, I believe... Let me just save. If we launch Starbug, you operate the controls and clumsily Starbug responds. You pilot Starbug out into space and find to your surprise that Holly was right. You set a course for Earth. You find yourself in Fiji looking out upon the great utopian landscape. Holding a pair of tongs in your hand. With the tongs you take care. Read this. Is this the real Fiji? Have we made it? This time you do not wake up. This time it's real. You and your wife, Christine K. Lister, are farmers who co-own a hot dog stand with your friend from America with a tooth disorder, Kat. Holly, your manager/computer, falls for a cheap PC clone from Japan. You're going to have two sons, one named Jim, and one named Bexley, after Jim Bexley Speed, the greatest quarterback who ever played for the London Jets 0G football team. As for Rimmer, he declares himself captain of Red Dwarf, promotes himself to admiral, and sets off in search of aliens who can give him a new body. The end. Yay! There you go. All done. That's Red Dwarf. Complete. The game was developed by... yeah. Okay, it was originally made in 1993. You have 612 points. Cheater! You've played before, haven't you? No. I don't know what you mean. See, it was made in 1993. So all the stuff with Kachansky and such hadn't actually officially happened in the show, so kind of just made that up as it went along. Okay, fair enough, that makes sense. Alright, well, that is Red Dwarf. The DOS text adventure fan game. Done and dusted. That's, some of it's pretty tough. I mean, it's pretty tough, but standard for a text adventure. Yeah, it's got plenty of obtuse moments. The first bit, which follows the first episode of the show, makes sense. I suppose you can follow that, but then it gets a bit tricky with going into the backwards episode but not following the episode, and there's items you can miss which you kind of need, such as the can and the pile of Kachansky's ashes, and you've got to use the backwards logic to revive her. That's a bit weird. That's very far-fetched. The film developing, I guess you could get. There are elements where it's easy to game over, like giving up the cat at the start, ruining the photographic film, stuff like that. So there's plenty of soft locks, but not the most difficult text adventure, but still requires some leaps. Not really much else to say about it. I guess it's well written. Yeah, it's got the different characters you can interact with. It's got the different areas of the ship, well described. There you go. Not really much to say about it, but for what it is, a text adventure, it's alright. Not completely out there, somewhat grounded. Follows the show in some ways. And what do you want? Alright, but that is done either way. And that's our 6th game done now? Ooh. But we've still got plenty more Red Dwarf games to go. Don't you worry about that. Alright, but we'll deal with those next time.